Trading Unlocked, and we are here on March 31st, 2020 for a daily Forex market analysis and live trading breakdown for you. It is the last day of the month. It's the last day of the quarter, and what a quarter it's been. 1/4 of the way through 2020. Geez, what a 3 months it has been, right? So before we get into everything, we're going to go and show you our disclaimer real quick to remind you that this webinar is for illustrative and educational purposes only. So all of our trades that we have on are for people who are already connected to our trading signal service, so that way their trades are manipulated and taken care of as we get in and out, and our stops and targets are moved and stuff like that. Please do not try and copy these things. This webinar is in delay, and you are behind the curve. You don't know. For all we know, after we end the webinar, we may be exiting trades. So, but right now, we do have some signals shaping up, so I'm sure you want to find out what they are. And some of them are actually high probable Japanese candlestick patterns. And by the way, there's a book called High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns that you can find on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle version. And through it, you can utilize the best buy and sell patterns used for over 400 years to give yourself a competitive edge against the market. So with that, let's get on to our live action screen here. We have the www.forex-trading-unlocked.com website, and we already have our US dollar Swiss currency cross pulled up. Why do we have this pulled up? Well, I'll tell you why. Because right here we have, see how easy we manipulate this on the website live. This is what we're doing here for you. Okay, so we have the Forex market here, the US dollar Swiss, with a nice little rally. It's trading just above the 50% part of its range right now. Currently, the bulls are trying to pressure resistance, and we'll see if we can get a positive close today. Now, for all we know, this market could turn around, but if it does settle over the next couple hours right about where it's at or higher, this will be a buy signal, a short-term buy signal. So how far would that target? Well, we're not going to try and be a fortune teller here and pre-trade and get it pre-jump on the trade, because we have to first get the signal. So the signal has not occurred yet. Like I said, there's still plenty of time for this thing to erode and not come to fruition. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there is a signal shaping up. So for tomorrow's analysis, we may have a short-term buy signal for the US dollar Swiss, which means that the the market has already made it went from this lower move low to a higher move high. If this is a higher move low and it continues to rally and this stays solidified, well, then we have obviously a short-term buy signal confirmed, and then we'll figure out where the corrective target is. So that will be for our next video. So there is our first buy signal that is forming right now. We shall see what's going on with that one. So that is also giving the dollar strength, okay? So we have the euro US dollar. Do we have a sell signal here as well? No, but we do have a little bit of a turn of events here. The market has stalled, but it's in the upper part of its range right now. It's still lower on the day. It's made a lower move high. So this is what, if you look at this one is kind of bearish because we have a higher move high with a lower move low. With the lower move high, if that's the case, then we might see this market go back to test support. Or this is the beginning of an extended correction where we've made this first leg up. We've just planted a higher move low, and we're ready to make a higher move high. We don't know yet. We have to see how things end up today. The dollar index is in a state of flux. We're in the first couple of days of the trading week. Remember, it's the end of the month, end of the quarter. A lot of balancing or a lot of just nothing going on is probably done for the day for the most part. So we have to wait until this week, get through it, and then tomorrow starts a new quarter, a new trading session. So we definitely are and then we'll also be in the middle of the week as well. So then we'll see where we really start to go and whether dollar strength or dollar weakness starts to come back into the marketplace. But right now it looks like the euro US dollar bears have a little bit of a hold on this market. Now we have the British pound US dollar, which is second to the euro as far as the weight in the dollar index. And as you can see, this one is a little bit stronger right now. So the dollar's not doing too well against this one. It's in the upper part of its range. It has not made a higher move high from 2 sessions ago, but it is trying to hold up right now. And what a bounce this thing has had. Of course, the UK also is getting hit with the coronavirus very, very hard. Right now, we are currently in this upside correction. All right, how far can this go, or how will it come back on support? I don't know. This one is pretty much an indecisive trade. If you're already long, I keep your stops tight, and I would be careful trying to sell into this one right now until you get an actual viable signal. However, if the dollar bears or the dollar bulls do come back, then it's very likely that this pound will start to fall back on support. Look at how volatile this thing has been. The last two sessions have actually been kind of calm, if you will, for the past, when you look at how it's been for the past month. So use caution with this market right now. We're waiting for a signal. US dollar, Japanese yen also seems to be on a little pause for the cause. It looks like it tried to make a rally today, and then now it's lower on the day in the lower part of the range. It's not collapsing, and it's pretty quiet. So remember, it's the end of the month. This market could hold yesterday's low. That's going to be our key for support for a pivot right now. We have to wait until the day to get a real beat on where we think we're going to get the bulls or the bears to go right now. So it's going to be pretty quiet. Who knows? Maybe we'll get another rush before 2 o'clock when the currency's technically closed with the futures. Obviously, everything's 24-hour. But on a balancing thing, we know that was a normal close. The real close for the FX market will be later on this afternoon. And then we'll see. Who knows? Maybe the US dollar yen will be lower on the day with hitting taking out yesterday's low, or it may be back on its highs of the day. So we'll see. I don't think most likely, though, that we're going to get much market action. I think, if anything, the currencies are going to be pretty quiet for the rest of the day. So even though the stock market seems to be lower, and that also only has a couple hours left. Now we have the Australian dollar, US dollar, which this one also seems to be falling against the dollar. So maybe the lesser currency crosses are the ones that are going to give us our lead. So let's see how the dollar's strength or weakness is going on. This market has had quite the volatility over the past month and also over this quarter. It's been a major bear. And the reality is it's probably going to resume the bearish trend. So we'll see how today ends. And if we have follow through to the downside tomorrow, then it's probably a good indication that a lower move high is now in place. This correction is most likely over. And then a sideways to lower trade will be probably on the menu. Now let's look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, which is also in this area of the world in this trading zone. See this one here? This one is already giving us the signal. So this one is our sell signal for the Australian dollar, US dollar. If we get this market to settle where it's at now or lower today, then odds are very good that the New Zealand dollar, US dollar is going to remain under pressure, taking this bull bear market back towards support. Now, how low? Is it going to go all the way back to test the lows from a few weeks ago? Who knows? We don't know about that, but it definitely is set up for a corrective move back towards the downside to test support and either the resiliency of the bulls, whether this market is really turning around, or if this is just the beginning of another wave lower, shockingly. The coronavirus thing is definitely still going on across the world. Until this curve flattens out, we still are expecting most of these trends to maintain in place. Now let's go to the US dollar TRY. So remember this one? This is where the dollar started to get a little correction going against the TRY. But now look what happened. Boom, like a balloon underwater. Today we are back at new highs. So this is where we're seeing the lesser currency crosses show that dollar bulls are back. So with that being said, I think you have to be very cautious. Look at how clean this correction was. We talked about this 2 sessions ago. We're like, expect it to be like this. And when it comes back, what's going to come back with a vengeance. So whereas the US dollar was under pressure with some other currencies yesterday, it already started to show here. And I think you're going to see more of this as we continue forward. So here we go with the US dollar with one of these lesser crosses, and look at volatility and bullishness really coming to leak into the market once again. So let's go look at the US dollar Mexican peso. Not quite the same thing as we had with the other one. Right now it looks like we're trying to base, but I think this is one more where we're going to see a consolidation. But remember, Mexico also is starting to see the coronavirus escalate. They just closed a whole bunch of resorts in Cancun and along their coasts, and the numbers definitely are starting to grow. So if their curve doesn't start to flatten out soon, well, I know you're not going to see any tourism in Mexico for a while, which is really bad for their economy as well as a bunch of other things. And then it's very likely that we'll see another run for highs and maybe see this peso back up at 26, 28, maybe even 30 pesos to the dollar. So we're going to wait for a signal. Be cautious right now. It is just in the middle of a neutral zone on a bearish correction, but most likely the bulls are going to come back. So US dollar Canada, let's see what's going on with this market. So in the same trading zone here, let's go north. We have the U.S. dollar Canada, which is definitely on its butt right now. It doesn't seem to want to get any strength going. Maybe this is the beginning of another wave lower. We had made a lower move low, a lower move high, lower move low, lower move high. So perhaps the bears are going to take over this one. But then the U.S. dollar bulls, if they really are going to come in place, I find it hard to believe that this market's going to continue to collapse before it makes a run at resistance again if dollar strength comes into place. Now, if dollar weakness truly prevails and it's just the lesser currency crosses that are going to find strength, well then this is where you're going to probably see this market then fall apart once again as well. So we'll have to wait for a signal. This one is also in a kind of a sideways chop. We don't want to like second guess it. Let's wait for a signal. U.S. dollar yen, this was something that we wanted to go back to taking a look at. Now, this market, remember, had been a bull for so long, and then look at what we've done. This market failed to make higher move highs, but it's now when you see how this is, it's made this higher move low. We may start to see congestion for the first month of the second quarter. Like, we've been swinging around for so long. See how we had this volatility here with the U.S. dollar yen? Now let's go back to the U.S. dollar Canada. We've had this extreme volatility here as well. Now, we had looked at the U.S. dollar, Turkish lira, and the Mexican peso. Those are much different examples. But with this one here, we had this really major choppiness, especially over the past like couple weeks here. So it wouldn't be surprising to see as we could still maybe test the lows here. There's a gap to be filled here. But I don't know. We may be going. This may actually, the range may have been set, and we may start to chop around here in a very tight range for the next month or so as things start to balance out, and the curves hopefully start to flatten, or people are waiting to see if they do flatten. We know that earnings are going to start to come out after today. Odds are everything's lagging. They're going to be very strong, and especially with what's gone on with the buying over the past month and a half of people hoarding and what have you, in many sectors things are definitely looking good. Now the outlook for quarters down the line obviously is a little less favorable. So, but we'll see how to manage this trade. But right now, I think range traders might be coming into a heavenly spot here. So I'd be very, very careful with what's going on with the U.S. dollar Canada right now. We'll see how it manifests, this trade. But right now, I'd be very, very cautious trying to get either overly bullish or bearish this market, because like I said, I think we may be heading into a very sideways trade going on with this market. So we've looked at, we went around all the world right now. We looked at our lesser crosses. Let's go back to our US dollar Swiss. Remember, this is where we have a buy signal that is shaping up. So we see how this manifests today after the close, and this is going to be one of our indications for whether or not we're going to see the dollar bull. Now let's recap this. If this signal does manifest, what supports this? So we're going to show this how the different currencies can give you an idea what's going to happen. Dollar strength here or dollar weakness? Dollar strength is prevailing in the US dollar TRY. US dollar Mexican peso here. Let's go over here. This market, it's stabilizing. Is it going to be bullish? Is it going to come back? We don't know. Is it going to be bearish? We don't know. But this is looks like it's more neutral. It's definitely been in a correct, overdone as far as being a buyer. So this market needed to get a little bit of a blow off. So could we see this market turn around and be back up at 25 pesos tomorrow? Absolutely, it could be. We could be at 22 pesos also. So use caution with this one, but it does seem that U.S. dollar strength is here, even though in the short term today it's showing a little bit of weakness. The U.S. dollar Canada, remember, this one here, we just took a look at that one. It's a little indecisive, but overall, this could be just a corrective break before we have another big rally to the upside. This definitely could be the beginning of a big slide. We have that gap to fill to the downside, but right now we just have a little bit of dollar weakness, and still, if this came all the way back like this, why isn't it pounding new lows? So it's like it's trying to be a bear, but it doesn't seem like it has the ability to hold. And then remember, we have the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. That was also one of our other signals here. This one here is another confirmation of weakness in other currencies and strength in the US dollar. So if we get this one, that gives us two confirmed signals where the dollar is a bear and the other currencies are a bull. Remember the British pound US dollar, which is one of our major currency crosses. This is right in around the 50% line from where it broken from this high down to this low. So this is a good area for it to consolidate. Not necessarily all these currencies are going to become a bear versus the dollar, but just by them going sideways and just not gaining very much strength or falling apart, they're neutral. These other currencies will pressure the dollar index, and that still helps our other currencies where those signals are to give us a chance for opportunity to trade. And these are the ones also, remember, where those two signals are, this is where we're looking for opportunities to trade. Right now, these other markets, if you're not in the trade, get out and just wait for a true signal. So, because otherwise you're probably going to get chopped up. Euro US dollar, here's another one that we are still watching this one. We are bearish this one, looking, and if it does go lower tomorrow, and if we take out the low from today, which would then help to confirm bearish momentum and the likelihood that this market has a chance to pressure support more, then that would help to go in in correlation with the U.S. dollar Swiss trade. So in other words, U.S. dollar Swiss bull, Euro U.S. dollar bear. So that would be another tandem trade that we could have that we're looking for as of the close of today. Not yet. A lot can happen yet. We still have a little bit of time. So we do have some signals brewing, and if you want to learn how to trade these signals while you're waiting for them to manifest, remember to read the book High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns, available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle versions. And outside of that, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Forex Trading Unlocked, and go to our website all the time for all your Forex needs at www.forex-trading-unlocked.com. Have a good day and tune in for our next webinar.